Hi, my name is Sherilyn Mahoney. I'm 28 years old and I live in American Fork, Utah. Today for my survival skill, I'm going to show you how I make a fishing pole. So what I'm looking for is a relatively green branch. That way it has a little give and play when you're out fishing. So I want about a 4 to 6 foot long fishing pole for where the area I'm in. So I'm going to go from about this nub here down to here and just cut it towards the base, bend and snap it off. And this I actually learned from my friend in Africa how to do this. And it was a really fun experience. This is a really tough branch. So I'm just cleaning up the ends on this end so it's not as splintery. Your hands won't be down this low, so it's not that big of a deal, but you know, gotta make it look nice. I learned how to make this fishing pole actually by a guide in Africa, and I was pretty successful at fishing with it, so I'm gonna try it here in the river in Utah, see if it's still the same techniques. But what I'm fishing for today is trout, and with that, trout like to be in fast-moving waters, and there's a couple different trouts here. You've got your cutthroat trout, brown trout, rainbow, and there's another one I'm blanking on. Woo, woo, woo. While we were out here, I stumbled upon this cord in the string, so I'm gonna actually reuse it because it's good rope. And we'll use this so I don't have to burn some of mine foraging in the wild. So trout tend to like, you know, anything with wings or grubs or worms, so we're going to use worms today. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting a fair amount of fishing line just wrapped around my hand, and I can always trim this, but I just want to get this spun out because then I'm going to tie the rest of it to the pole. So I'm looking to do about 10 to 15 feet based on the water I'm about to fish in. And so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. All right. We're going to cut that. You can always cut off. You can't add on. That is my old man advice. I spent the last 3 years working as an engineer in a manufacturing plant for a Anheuser-Busch, which is beer, and then Sazerac, which is whiskey. And that's where I learned a lot about precision and good advice that's unsolicited. Right now, I'm just going to wrap the rope snugly around the branch. And continue it down until I loop it back through. So I'm gonna just give myself some line. And this is why having a secondary stick as a reel is good, because it keeps everything nice and tight and clean. So this is about 3 feet from me and my wingspan. Now I'm gonna do a heavier split shot. And how a split shot works is you can open and close it by this little back part, by pinching it. So, so I'm just gonna, it's already open, so now I'm just gonna squeeze down and try to close it on there. And I'm not super strong. It's actually a very soft metal, so I'm gonna bite on it, but I don't recommend that for everybody. I grew up in Salina, Kansas, but my grandparents had a dairy farm, and with that there was a bunch of ponds, and when I used to go pond fishing a lot, and most of the time I would just be catching little like bluegills or sunfish, And then occasionally you get the large large mouth bass, and there's small mouth bass, and they're pretty much in the same ecosystem. But the fun thing about fishing is you really can change the type of lure or the type of experience based on the fish you're going for. I remember I went striper bass fishing in Texas, and they are massive. And I went with my family on a little boat, and it was just so much fun. Like, I don't know how you can't smile while you're fishing. All right, the very next step in this fishing is getting a worm. So I just went and got some red crawlers from the grocery store. It was easier to manage with the time. So you're just gonna pull out a worm, and if you see, they're pretty long. So I'm gonna cut this in pieces because I don't need as big as worm. But as you can tell, it's like wet and stuff, so you wanna look for the worms under dark, damp places. Oh God. Oh God, I don't like this part. Ew, I'm sorry. I'm outdoorsy. So I'm gonna take this end, and you're gonna feed it. Ew, it's pooping on me. You're gonna feed it through the middle, like that. You want a good old, you want it super secure, because the river's flowing pretty fast. And if it's not secured on there like that, it's gonna come right off. All right, now the moment of truth, fishing. Ugh. Do I sound like an old man?